He has a 1-1 count. That one's struck high. Left side. That one's going. That's out of here off the lights. You have to be kidding me. Fireworks. Here you go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome one and welcome all inside High and Tight, the flagship show, part of the IAbaseball network. And hey, thanks for joining in on what is another fun outing here. Fun show in store for you today, brought to you in part by Victory Mounds. Check them out today at victorymounds.com. Hey, from premium softball and baseball, pitching equipment, field products, field services, they've got it all. Victory Mounds. And hey, I know what you may be thinking. If there's any question marks, all of them are answered on the great website known as victorymounts.com. So head on over there, make your way, and hey, any questions will be answered. Craig Allison, who has helped spearhead this, he's seen it all from high school to college. He has seen what works, what doesn't, and he's marrying all together. Plus, you got Mike Donahoe, who's in charge of product and equipment. Is nothing short of premium. And, of course, Craig Allison, who's a journeyman in the baseball game as well. He knows everything there is, and he can help. He's the national sales executive. So check him out today at victorymounds.com. All right, good show for you in store today. Again, I am Andrew Brown. Thank you for joining us here today. I got my Can Play hat on in support of the Can Play organization. Please check them out. Donate when you can. There's a lot of different events that you can take part in and just have a fun time, socialize, all that kind of stuff. So make sure to check on that. And hey, make sure to have some fun with that as well. Like I said, big show in store for you today. We're going to go ahead and kind of look a little bit into the season here as we take a look at some teams, the runner-ups anyway, who we think could potentially make a state title run or state title championship. We're going to rank the 4 runner-ups to see, hey, what's our confidence level in all 4 of the runner-ups. Plus, we're going to go ahead and have some game action, give you another sneak peek at who is potentially ranked what and where in what class. Heaven forbid we do 4A again. We might have to switch that up even if we do. But nonetheless, we're going to have a lot of fun here. Again, Andrew Brown with you here. Plus, not only this, but we'll have our prospect planner piece coming on up after, where we dive into the entirety of, well, the prospect from going to be a prospect to being committed collegiately. That's right. Chad Erickson has been gracious enough to talk us through about his journey with his son and being committed and getting to that next level. What has worked and what doesn't work. And that's just for him, not an experience for everybody, but just his experience that might help you and yours make a more enjoyable or easier experience coming on up. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, let's not diddle-dally any further. Let's get right into it here as we go ahead and talk a lot of things. But before I do, I got to bring in the partner in crime who's helped me out with this show, the one and only Cade Nissen, joining me on the hotline. And Cade, appreciate you coming along and doing all this with me again.
Heck yeah. I'm excited to make this a part of my normal routine, Andrew. It felt like just yesterday I was making the 100 days until opening practice countdown, and now we're already creeping on. I think we're under 50. I think I totally blanked on getting the 50 days out. I think we're below 50. We're within 2 months.
Yep.
We're within striking distance. Content is coming out all the time. If you've been following IAbaseball, we've been doing tons of cool stuff. Andrew, you did a great job with the advanced metrics. I love that. Love that idea. The batting average on balls in play. It's a stat that is valuable, and it's just something that people don't think about. And there's so many stats, so many possibilities with that advanced metrics. And I know you're excited to kind of keep pushing on that, and I'm excited to also kind of help and keep bringing that. So I think those have been a hit, and I think people are going to be excited to see what you come up with next for those advanced metrics.
Yeah, and those are fun. Those are really fun to do.
Yeah.
And it's just something that you see at the MLB level every single time. Even collegiately you see it, but you don't see it at high school. So it was kind of a fun exercise that not only helps us with getting stuff out there, but it definitely helps us recognize, the hidden behind the teams.
Yeah,
Teams just don't, on paper, on the win-loss record, don't seem like they've done a whole lot, when in reality they have. And some of these
yeah.
advanced metrics can really work out in their favor as well.
I bet some of those coaches are probably like, "Holy cow! Well, we're right up there, and I didn't even know." Like some of the coaches probably didn't even know. I bet it's really cool for some of those, like you said, those teams that might not get recognized when it's like batting average or slugging, like the big
Yeah,
numbers that all the perennial teams are kind of at the top of, and you get those really advanced metrics that kind of show you and tell a real story. So I think that's really cool.
yeah. Well, and a quick example on that here, Cade. You for the longest time said, "Hey, don't never sleep on the Clippers at Clear Creek Amana."
Hey,
And
I saw that.
you look at where they are near the top of that mark, and you go, it bears out. You look at the rest of the stats, it bears out. They don't
Yeah,
strike out a ton. They're good at the plate. And numbers don't lie. And this is one that's as kind of a simple of an advanced metric as you can get. Oddly enough, as hard as that is to say, but yeah. So kudos on you on picking up on Clear Creek Amana before a lot of others did.
yeah, and I think it's fun too when I've been doing these. I mean, obviously you've been helping too on Rockfin with these conference predictions. A lot of these conferences, we really don't have a ton of pull in. It's not like we're seeing these teams day in and day out. What we're going off of for the majority of this reasoning are the numbers. And I think
Yep.
that's so interesting. These numbers, I mean, sure, some of them might just not be exactly what they say, but for the most part, numbers don't lie. And that's a true
Yep.
statement. Now, once you get in the postseason, anything can happen. But
Yep.
this sample size of a full season, the numbers don't lie. So I think it's really fun for me learning about these schools before I get a chance to see them. Obviously, my second full year with IAbaseball. Hopefully, I can start to get to know a lot more schools, a lot more kids. But right now, I'm doing a lot of this based off the numbers, and I'm learning a lot and kind of realizing that these numbers don't lie. And it's going to be interesting to see how these kind of conference predictions pan out because it could either go really well or it could go really bad, and I could make myself look like a fool. So we'll see. I've been having fun. I hope everyone knows that we're doing this for entertainment purposes. We're not doing it to build a grudge. We're doing it to entertain you. There's
Hmm.
really nowhere else in Iowa that's doing this type of thing. Conference predictions for each and every conference, advanced metrics. Giving these opinions with reasoning.
Yep.
And I think it's truly cool, really really cool what we're doing here, Andrew. And I think it's just a start. I mean, it's
Yeah.
my second year, so we're just really really touching the surface, and we got a ton of people helping us out. And I'm super excited for baseball. This is my passion. I know it's your passion. So
Yeah.
when you got two guys that are super passionate about it, we're gonna end up making some cool stuff for the people in Iowa this summer.
Yeah, it is really cool, and we got a lot to get to as well. But yeah, it is very cool to do. And
Yeah.
again, it's the highlight of the players, coaches, and even umpires.
Right.
We've done that as well. So it's just to highlight what we have great talent here in the state of Iowa. So yeah, you kudos, you hit it right on the head there, and so certainly a lot of fun, and we have a lot of fun with this. But as for now, again, great show going on. Again, brought to you, everybody, by Victory Mound. So make sure to check them out today at victorymounds.com. But first off, we got a lot to get to. That includes the runner-ups, our confidence level on
Mhm.
who could earn a title coming on up potentially here. We also got a game to play and all that. So, okay, where do we start with all this great glory of content that we have?
I love the wheel. Let's let the wheel decide our fate. We've got 4A back-to-back weeks. As much as I love 4A, as much as I love the big schools, I'm kind of hoping the wheel does not give us 4A again for the people's sake. Let's get a different class in here, Andrew. Let's see what it does.
Yeah, I'm very much in for that. So, hey, again, ladies and gentlemen, I think, like I said there, I think we might have to spin it twice. 4A gets
Yeah,
a lot of love, so let's go ahead
yeah.
and try and do all we can here. But all right, so we'll go ahead here and rock it up as we go ahead and bring this up. And we got the wheel here. The wheel is going pretty strong. We got, again, 1, 2, 3, and 4A going up there for you. And if you want to make sure to catch this, again, you can record this, play it back, and have some fun
Yeah.
with it yourself. That's fun. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and let's get this roll spinning. All right, here we go. Any guesses? I'm thinking 3A here.
I kind of hope 3A. And just for the people who don't know, this is our preseason rankings on Rockfin.
Yep.
So yeah, we're just giving one out for free each week. If you want to see them all, go ahead and subscribe. Number one way you can support us. You've heard that before, though. What do we got?
All right, here we go. Here we go. Got some sound effects on this one. I like that. There we go. Oh, we did it. We
What do we get? Yeah, I can't see
we
your screen. What do we get?
we willed it 3A. We willed 3A
Bang.
into
Nice.
completion. So again, our rankings, we're now going into our class 3A scene. And again, all these, like Kate said, on Rockfin for you to go ahead and look at. And hey,
Yep.
you can check it out. Again, great. It supports a small business that's helping to highlight the talent here. So
Yes,
last time,
totally.
I think we haven't gone beyond 10.
I don't. Yeah, I think it's been top 10. I think 3A Andrew too is kind of your and I's sweet spot. I'd say it's the
Yep.
class that we both know the most about. I think it's the one I know the most about, and I know it's the one you know most about. So it's gonna be fun.
Oh, yes. I cannot wait for this to go down. All right. Here we go. I'm not Regis Philbin. I'm not the lady in the dress here, so please forgive me on this one. I'm just gonna have to spin this. And here we go. No sound on this guy though. All right. And looks like we got all the way at 16 to 15. 16 to 15.
It's
So
15.
yeah, the very last ranking in our class 3A scene.
Yep. You want me to give it out? You want me to
So
reveal it? I got it up right
yeah,
now.
let's go ahead. We'll bring us back into the camera mode. And so, Kate, drum roll from me. I don't have the sound effect, so
It is Bishop Heelan.
Bishop Heelan. I had that one ready in the chick.
That was a nice touch. That was pretty good.
So the
Uh,
Bishop Heelan Crusaders ranked number 15 in our preseason poll. Again, you can catch that out as you go on to Rockfin and catch this. But I it was unfortunate the way that Bishop Heelan fell last year. You know, it's kind of
yep.
had a interesting postseason. They had to resume a game from I believe the third or fourth inning on a different day. Got through that one, but just couldn't find a way to go past round two. And I think this is a team that gradually moved its way up very strong in our rankings last year. And they proved that they were hard to keep out. So they
Yeah.
ended up in our top 10 and last year. They ended up in the top 10 last year. So I like what they're doing here. You know, they just had their catcher, Raider Erickson, excuse me. He ended up committing to Southeast Community College down in Missouri. And so he is a guy that I'm looking forward to, along with Bleeker and company, to do a whole lot. You know, you don't see a lot of really as strong as those guys are anyway, you know, pitcher catcher duos. So you're going to get that going on. Ultimately, this is a team that just has a lot of good things going for them. I mean, they truly are becoming that holistic team. Now, yes, they do lose some guys, but you know, you got an Iowa commit and a Southeast commit going there on the field at the same time. Then yeah, you got something going here for you. And again, I will correct myself and say it's not out of Missouri. That's out of Nebraska and Beatrice, Nebraska. And so those guys have been just dominating the JUCO scene for a while. So again, that's where Erickson is heading. And but yeah, I really like what we got here with Bishop Heelan Crusaders.
Yeah, and really, Healing, I think they kind of get lost just because they're in a part of the state where we're not really around a ton, and that's just kind of unfortunate. Because looking at them, Andrew, they hardly lose anything. I mean, Raiden's
Yeah,
back. He threw out 7 of 10 guys last year. I mean, he was
yeah,
extremely efficient behind the plate, and I've said that before in our past shows. That's something I look for in teams is what catcher is coming back and how successful is he in throwing runners out, because that's such a huge part of the game in high
yeah,
school when you have someone like that. But I mean, their top 4 hit guys are back, and Baker, Bleeker, Wahab, and Schaefer, and they're no slouches. All hit above 300, all
yeah.
slugged well. The pitching is back. They return. I mean, looks like every single pitcher besides a Sanderson who threw 16 innings, but they've got 3 guys who threw 48 or more innings back last year. All of them had ERAs around 2
Yep.
or below. I mean, Bleeker, obviously, like you said, the star, 0.6 ERA, 0.6 WHIP. He was excellent. 5 wins on the mound, 51 innings. I mean, Elon at the number 15 spot. You said they finished top 10 last year, kind of ended their season, unfortunately, to
Yeah.
Spencer. But looking at this team, I really, really like what this team brings back. And it wouldn't surprise me. I don't think it'd surprise you to see them jump higher than 15 at any point throughout this year.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I know that they will jump higher. Talking with a lot of guys, in talking around, this team is, it's just what they've had. There's so much more potential that they could be. I think
Right.
where ultimately they end up where they are, but knowing that they're going to go higher than that, and certainly, again, this is like trying to hit a pinprick of a target from a mile away, and you have 20 teams who could be in the top 15 really, and so
Right.
I think that every class has that. And you know what? Last year the Missouri River Conference showed strength, and Sioux City North, as we have mentioned before, took that conference, but Bishop Heelan right beside them here. You also got Sergeant Bluff, and when you have a team like Sioux City East, who number one in our 4A batting average balls in play list, when that is a team that is fourth in the conference, I think there's a lot of strength to be said there. So ultimately, for Bishop Heelan to be where they are, there is legitimacy in what their record is. There's no question about the toughness about what this team brings. So yeah, they've got a lot there, and then they've got a lot to show here in 2024.
Yeah, totally. I mean, they were 27 and 13 last year, which is no slouch. And I'm kind of digging into their schedule. I mean, they had a 4-game stretch last year where they lost 4 in a row by 1
Yeah,
run. I mean, you think some of those flip? I mean, they lost to Johnston 2-0. They had a lot of really close losses.
yeah,
Obviously, I mean, everyone's a Monday morning quarterback. You can go back and say what if, but I mean, this team has obviously showed that they can compete with some really good teams. They had a win over ADM last year.
yeah.
It competed well with a lot of very, very high level teams, and like I said, they return a lot. So I like this Heelan team, and I like them at 15. And yeah, Andrew, I mean, this is a team to look out for sure. This is a good wheel spin.
Yeah, I'm really glad we did this. Team that can't. I like doing this. And again, ladies and gentlemen, you can always catch all the rankings in their entirety
Yep.
by heading to Rockfin. And hey, help support a business, a small business, helping to highlight what we've got here going on here in the state. So, again, love Bishop Heelan. Can't wait for them to add something going on here, and of course, get those wins over North and Sergeant Bluff Luton like they've been looking for. So we'll see. But anyway, uh, as we continue along, again, ladies and gentlemen, like, subscribe, spread the word. Have a whole lot of fun with us by connecting with us on social media, on Rockfin, of course, wherever you can find us. Hey, let us know. Have some fun with it. We'd love to be able to chat with you and everything there is. So, with that, let's continue on as we continue to talk here on High and Tight with Kate Nissen and, of course, myself, Andrew Brown, as we get ready. Just again, under 50 days left until we finally get to kick off the season, and we're going to be looking to be at some practices and looking to be at some places to kind of kick off, especially once we hit that first week or that first practice round, right? When we finally get practice underway, that'll be fun to get out there and get with teams. So make sure. So if you want us there, like we've already put out there, let us know. We'd love to come
Yeah.
and have a show, or just go ahead and get some clips, highlights, and everything like that, Cade.
Yeah, yeah. Please don't be afraid to reach out to me personally. Obviously, IAbaseball repost my stuff on Twitter, so you can find me there. Don't be afraid to reach out to me. I want to connect with you guys. I want to be at practices where coaches and athletes want me there. I don't want to go to practices where you might not want our coverage. I want to be where people appreciate our coverage. I want to be shooting interviews with kids and giving your program some good pub before the season and posting some stuff out and making your school look cool, because we can do that here at IA So we got some
Yeah.
cool stuff, and we're able to kind of showcase the good things in Iowa high school baseball, and there's a whole lot of it. But Andrew, speaking of connecting with us and kind of engaging with us, I got a game for you.
Okay.
Okay, and not the color game. We're going a
Oh,
different route. That one was fun. I think we're gonna bring that back for sure. I
okay.
wanted to try something else. I saw this on social media, had to try it with you.
Okay.
So, across the entire state of Iowa, everybody's in play, and you can play this from home for sure, no doubt. Um, I want you to name 3 schools whose mascot has a color involved.
Has a color involved.
So
Oh,
I'll give you one for free. So just as an example for the people at home if they don't get it. So like Davenport Central, they're the Blue Devils. So I'm looking for 3 schools with nicknames or whatever mascots, nicknames, whatever you call them, with a color involved. I've got like a whole list. So
okay.
I think I got most of them. So if you got one, I'm curious if you can rattle 3 off. I'd be pretty impressed. I asked Tony earlier in the office, and he was kind of struggling. So I'd be impressed if you could get it.
Well, first off, right out of the bait, right out of the gate, Osage is a team that
Yep. There you go.
I know them very well. And I think I don't technically this is a color. I don't know if this it works, but the Dowling Catholic Maroons,
Yeah, I have that written down. That's a
you know,
color. Heck yeah.
so that those
Okay.
two really stood out to me. Um, you know, I got to make sure. I'm not quite sure. Is Council Bluffs Thomas Jefferson the Yellow Jackets?
They are the Yellow
So,
Jackets. All right, you got 3, but you're rolling. Keep it. Let's see how many you can get.
all right. So my next, as I look there, you know, there's always like the Blue Jays, and so there's
I,
Bondurant Farrar with that.
yep,
And
I counted that. I counted that.
so there's that. I mean, technically, I don't know if you could go Cardinal. I mean, Cardinal is a color,
Yeah,
but is that? But I don't know if that is within our realm. It doesn't necessarily.
yeah,
It's more of the name of the school than it really is
yeah,
color. So
yeah.
let's see here. Think
There's one. There was one that's a 3A. There's a 3A state tournament qualifier that you're gonna know because you're
oh
gonna know this one.
yeah, because you had Carlisle, you had Spencer, Western Dubuque. Oh boy. Okay.
Not there yet.
Okay. I'm trying I'm kind of blanking out here.
I feel like the people are probably screaming at you right now through their screens. They're like,
They
Andrew,
are
it's they made it to the semis. They made it to the semis. I'll give you that.
they did. Oh, okay. All right. Just looking through the notes here. Boy. Okay. All right. Don't tell me. Don't. So if I had that, you had Marion, you had Harlan,
No.
you had Ballard. Let's see, Ballard, Carlisle.
Who did Ballard play in the first round?
Yeah, and then Ballard play in the first round.
Yeah, it was Ballard's first round opponent.
Ballard's first round opponent. Wow.
They fell to Western Dubuque in the semis.
Was it? Oh, how did I not know this? The Golden
I
Eagles.
know.
The Golden
Yeah.
Eagles. Oh my gosh! Everybody, yell at me all you need to. Oh my god!
I thought for sure that was the one you were gonna get right off the rip. I'm kind of surprised with
I
you.
am very surprised at myself as well. I can't believe that I did that, and wow. Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Well, let's see.
You got most of them that I had down. I'll kind of give you the few. I had Sioux City East. I had the Black Raiders.
Yeah, the Black Raiders. Yeah, yeah.
I had Anamosa, the Blue Raiders.
Okay.
I had North Tama. They're the Red Hawks. I had Centerville, the Big Reds. Bishop Garrigan, the
All the
Golden
Golden
Bears.
Bears. Yeah.
Yep. Let's see what else. I got a bug on my
Uh,
screen. Let's see. You
okay.
got most of them. I mean, I had Perry and Bondurant, the Blue Jays.
Yep. Yep.
You had the Maroons. I had that written down. I thought Wahlert Catholic you'd get. I'm a little disappointed there, but
I
that's
am very
okay.
disappointed at that. It
Mount St. Mary's is also the
disappointed
Blue
me.
Devils, or Martinsdale St. Mary's is also the Blue Devils.
Yep.
But that's the ones I had. That was pretty good though. You got Osage really quick.
Well, there's also, I mean, technically, did you say Red Oak yet?
I did not, but yeah, that's in the school name.
I mean, I don't
We
know
can
if
count
that
that.
I don't know if that counts though.
I
It's
mean,
not
it's our own game, so we
that.
can kind of count whatever we want.
I love it. I love it. Oh,
That
that's
was fun though. You did good. You got three pretty quick, but they weren't really the three I thought you'd get.
no, and the one that I love Coach Tish, and I love what they've got going out there with Waller
That-
Catholic.
you've talked to me about Waller Catholic so much. I thought for sure that was a free one.
That it was so easy, it was hard. That.
Yeah, yep. It was just right underneath your nose.
Oh man, well I like that, and
Yep,
hey, I love it when we can get the spins. I think we'll have to come
yep,
out with our tops, or I mean top mascots. I think we've already tried that a little bit once, but
yep. I'll keep
uh,
thinking. I'm sure I'll come up with a new game for you to kind of twist your brain next week.
I love that. Yeah, let's rock that again. I like that. I like that. Well, speaking of rocking, as we continue along, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget you can catch this wherever you can catch us. Find us Rockfin, YouTube. Of course, we'll have this show parted in two ways for YouTube here, so that you can go ahead and catch all that you want, when you want, and how you want it. So, but for now, let's move on and let's talk about runner-ups from the state tournaments here, Cade, that we
Yep,
have more confidence in making a state title championship this year. Now, again,
yeah.
what this practice is, it's just kind of, again, a fun practice as we look at all four teams who are one win away from taking the crown in their respective classes, that being Lisbon, Ames, North Polk, and Underwood. So we're going to go ahead and, again, give our confidence level. That doesn't mean we're not dogging on anybody. We're not
Nope.
necking on anybody. It's the realities do have to set in, and we're just kind of going by our thoughts. And then again, like Cade said, we could be completely right. We could be as far off as the moon by now.
We've been
So
wrong. We've been wrong.
we've been wrong. Yeah, wrong for it. I'm happy to say that there have been several teams that have come up and
Yep.
surprised the heck out of us. But I always like it when they go ahead and say, "Hey, you won't make that mistake next year." And so, but let's dive into this again. Underwood, Norfolk, Ames, and Lisbon here. Let's go ahead.
I think we gotta start from the bottom.
Yeah, let's go ahead and start right from the bottom. Now, these teams are more than capable of making it. But Caleb, we'll start with you. Who is your number 4 team that you think could make a state tournament championship?
Well, first off, Andrew, I gotta say, last week, if you didn't watch, we did the champions most likely to repeat,
Right,
and we matched perfectly. So we
we
we've
did.
got high hopes. We've got high hopes here, and I
All
think there's
right,
a shot. I think there's a shot we could match again. But
we got this.
my team at number 4, I got Lisbon,
Yep,
and it's I know 1A is going to be really really interesting because that state title game was two teams that were just filled with incredible senior classes, and Lisbon was up there with Remsen, St. Mary's in terms of graduating a
yep,
huge class of teams that just had so many contributors. I mean, Zarnecki was incredible. Hunter Clark had always been good.
yep.
Was a rock solid all week long for them. They just graduate a ton, and I'm not. They're going to have a great year. That program is going to get guys ready. But in terms of ranking the 4 runner-ups, they're the team I've got at number 4. But to make it a little better, I do got to say they have the best uniforms in the state of Iowa.
Oh,
Those black pennies are the cleanest uniforms in the state of Iowa. So there's a consolation prize for being my number 4 team. Hopefully, they
yeah.
don't take too much offense to that. So I got Lisbon at number 4. Andrew, what do you got?
Well, first off, shout out to Shenandoah and their pinstripe unis, very similar. I'm a sucker for pinstripes. You know what?
Yeah.
You give me a good pinstripe uni, and I am all yours for sure. We're going to start off perfect here, Cade, because I also going with Lisbon in my number 4, simply due to the fact that in 1A it's a little bit harder to re-engage and re-up. I know this team will be competitive. I know they'll do well, but losing as much as they did, that's what I did for Remsen St. Mary's when I said,
Mhm.
they lost a good senior class, and will they have enough? Again, a lot of these underclassmen sat under these seniors for so long, and they've learned a lot. So I know they'll be competitive. But man, I just you mentioned Clark, college bound Mr. Clark there. I think you lose guys like that, and it really does. It really does hurt because those are guys who have been there for not just a year or 2 years, but three, four, even five. So it's really tough when you have guys who have been there for that long. And
Yeah.
but again, I could see them in the state tournament again, but they're on my number 4 list as my confidence level to win a title.
Tell you what, I have a memory when I used to film the state tournament in Carroll for the Iowa High School Athletic Association. It was a game with Clark and Lisbon against Newman Catholic and Doug Taylor. And Clark and Taylor, those two were just dueling, and that was just a I think
Yeah,
it's going to be like a core memory for me. Like I'll remember that. Like those guys were going out and shutting down the side and just taking turns. And that Lisbon class, they've seen plenty of postseason games, like you said. That
yeah.
whole class, there's just like a whole group of them, which is really cool to always see those kids grow up and compete in state tournaments all together in the same grade. But yeah, it's going to take a new squad, Andrew. And speaking of taking a new squad, who do you have at number 3? I'll let you lead this one.
Well, for me, this is where it really gets automatically the toughest out there, and
Yeah,
I'm going to say Ames only because you look at what Ames had. I mean, man, they had a heck of a team going on. And unfortunately for them, what you lose out on is you lose out on some significant offense. And I will say significant offense. Aiden Nye and company, those guys like that, just really hard to replace. I know that Ames will do that. The coaching staff has shown nothing but their ability to adapt to a new conference as they were here in the Iowa Alliance for this 2023 season, of course. But, this is, Gabrielson is a tough one to make. I mean, he's with the Lakers at Lakeland Lakers now. He's hot. He's a hard. Joshua Modal is a hard guy to lose. And, of course,
yeah,
like I mentioned as well, Aiden Nye. So what you get ultimately there is 5 out of the top 6 batters do depart. And then on the pitching side of things, that's where you get a little bit dicey as well. You have 4 out of the top 5 pitchers. You get Guthrie back. You
yep,
get him back, which is a huge gain. But then at this point, Kate, it's just question marks. We know
yeah.
that they'll step up, but to what degree, we just don't know because we haven't played games yet.
Yeah, and in baseball, we all know it takes more than one, and there's no doubt. Anytime Geffrey goes out there, they're gonna be in that game, and he's
Oh
gonna be
yeah,
able to keep you. He's gonna be able to silence some of the best offenses in the state of Iowa. And speaking
yeah,
of, we've got an opening day rematch of the Class 4A state title game that I don't think people are really talking about yet,
they
but
should.
that is gonna be electric, and it's gonna be a ton of fun. I mean, I'm probably gonna be there in all honesty. But yeah, this Ames team, they lose a ton. Gabrielson, he was one of my favorite guys to watch in that week we had in Iowa City. He was making plays with the bat. He was incredible in the field in that state title game, making plays to keep them in that going into extra
Yeah,
innings. I mean, he tallied 100 total bases last year in Class 4A. That's not an easy thing to do by any means. So yeah, they graduate a good class, but they have some pieces coming back where they're going to compete. And obviously, last year, no one was expecting them to be in the spot that they were at the end of the year. And I think it's in all honesty, it's probably going to be the same thing this year. So they're going to be used to that type of underdog feeling,
yeah,
and it's gonna be no surprise to them. So they're going to go out and compete extremely hard every time. So never count out Ames, but I match with you here. I got them at number 3 as well.
yeah. I mean, it's one thing I will say too. How much did we love Geffrey going out there? And I believe it was that very first game, which was so epic against Iowa City High, and that matchup. You saw him basically go the distance. If I'm not mistaken, yeah, I go 6 innings, 113 pitches. He went the max that he could, man, and
Yeah,
still dominated out there. And he didn't give out a walk. He did have 13 strikeouts in that game. So,
yeah.
if there's anybody, top guys to watch, Geffrey is definitely one of those top ones to watch.
Yeah, I remember he was in the field. He was in the field playing first base in that state title game, and it was like the first batter in extra innings. He made like a diving play and got the put out right away. And I'm
Ever.
like, oh, like this is gonna be good. That was an all timer right there. That state title game is one we're gonna be talking about for a while. But hey, we're 2 for 2. We
Yep.
got 2 left. I think these two could easily be interchanged.
Yep.
Who do you got here as your number 2 slot?
The number two. Now, I love their water tower, but unfortunately, not them for the number one spot. I got North Polk at number two, and I say that only because of the competition around them.
Yep.
And I'll say this: until Western Dubuque is out of the state tournament, I really can't count them out because of what they back. I mean, they have guys who are in the top 15, top 10 in the state, and Hunter
Yeah.
Quagliano, Jake Goodman, guys like that who have just continued to produce and have another year of experience under their belt. And then you mentioned the team that I could not get in our good game in the Waller Catholic Golden Eagles.
Mhm.
They look to be back too. This entire field could legitimately be back, and it's just really, really tough to say for 100% that I would put them at one. Now, could I see North Polk take the title? Yes, and I
Yeah.
would not be surprised. However, if we're trying to put them into a list here, I think North Polk, unfortunately, with what other teams have coming back, like Western Dubuque, like Waller, that's where I start to get into the questioning here just a little bit. But there'd be no surprise in my mind if they ended up being the champions here in 2024.
100%. 2 and 1 were easily interchangeable for me, but it was the same reasoning. It was the
Yeah.
competition. And that's crazy thinking we're picking North Polk at number 2 when they've got Cook
Oh,
and Rogge returning. I mean, those I who is gonna go out and, like, get hits against those guys consistently?
yeah.
Obviously, we saw Western Dubuque do that in the state title game, and I think that's kinda why I put them at 2 here is that we've seen a team able to go out there and be patient and work against these extremely high level pitchers. I mean, Cook and Rogge are going to go out there and win a ton of games for North Polk this year. And I posted that graphic about them today.
Yep.
The stats were just incredible. And to think they're both juniors, both coming back, they're going to have a whole offseason to raise their velo, to raise their command. I mean, obviously, they're both committed to play baseball at the next level. That's going to be an extremely fun team to watch. They're right around this area. I'm excited to go watch them. They're also returning their backstop and Isaac Zosky. He threw out 8 of 35 guys last year. That's really, really respectable. They return a ton of pieces offensively. They lose some guys, but they return a good chunk of their lineup. So this is a team that's not going to change a whole ton, but we still got them at 2 just because of the field of Western Dubuque and so many other teams in that field. But just like you said, it would not surprise me one bit to see North Polk holding that trophy at the end of the year.
And I will say that if any team, we all slowly are going to start to become Minnesota fans, not only because Cook will be there as well, but you got Seth Clausen. I can only imagine Seth Clausen closing role, Hunter Cook opener for the Golden Gophers. I would have a hard time cheering against that. So great
Yep.
Iowa connection there. Of course, Rocky going to Kirkwood, but yeah, I absolutely to think that. And the one thing I love about this team and why I say they could end up winning is because what do we talk about every time we hit the postseason, and especially state tournament time? For me, it's arguing that, man, why can't we eliminate the pitch count rule? Because you start with your ace, your dog on the mound, and then you see teams that don't have a second now a second guy who can get 97 strikeouts. Just let that sink in. Your second guy on their 97. Now, when I talked to some scouts, they said, they called them 1A, 1B. We can't give a designation to one of these guys as two. And it's impossible. So you get to state tournament time, you could, if you're daring enough, Coach Zosky, I think has a great baseball mind. He could end up going, say, Cook 1, someone else for game 2, and Rogge if you need him, and then
Yeah.
put him in the title game or vice versa. So you have
Yeah.
options that really almost nobody else will have. So
Yeah. And Andrew, last year worked out really, really well for North
it
Polk
did.
in that tournament. They had Spencer in round 1. Rogge he threw well. They got the lead. They were able to yank him, so
Mhm.
he was able to throw in that state finals game. So really, if you're North Polk looking back at that, that's exactly how you would have won it. Cook went out there in the semis, beat
Exactly.
Carlisle. you had Rogge, your 1A, 1B, ready for the finals, and I mean, you just got beat, and that happens, and I think they're okay with that. But if it lines up again for them, I mean, that's ideally is you go out there in the court, and that's what every team is looking to do in the state tournament. You go out there in the quarterfinals, you throw your ace, you beat up on a team you should probably beat up on, you
Yep.
pull him that he can throw in that finals game. But you know where it gets tricky is where you're in a tightly contested quarterfinal game. You have to keep your ace out, kind of like Ames. They were in a tight game with Iowa City High. They had to keep Jeffrey out there because you don't want to
Yep.
risk not getting to the semis, not getting to the
Yeah,
finals. It's
you have
kind of
to
like
win.
you'll cross that bridge when you get there.
Yeah. Yeah, you have
So
to win to move on.
right,
You can't sit there and go play the what if game, and so you're dealt that hand. You have to roll with it. But yeah, you get the chance now to intermix and change. I mean,
yeah,
there's no doubt. You have two. You can start out two games, the first two games of the week. You can almost guarantee a win, and
yeah.
you don't get that much in the Raccoon River Conference, let alone 3A.
Yeah, Raccoon River is going to be fun. But Andrew, we matched yet again. Go ahead and talk about your most confident runner up to win it all this year.
You know what? This one for me, it was a no brainer from the start. And I know that's really
Yeah,
tough. Underwood is that team. They are that guy, to put that out there. They are that team because they bring back, I don't believe, they bring back everybody. Actually, yes. I didn't see as I was looking down the stat line a single senior on that hitting roster offensively, which means from a team that had 4 losses, they bring back all 267 hits from a team that ranked tops in the class in average, in batting average. And you could go down the line, guys. I mean, you got Lewitt here, who is obviously he is bound for Iowa, and he's got a lot of great. I mean, 48 hits, tied for third, 37 RBIs, fifth in the class. And there on the other end, you got Jack Van Vossen, another good stellar guy, but pitching wise, he had the third lowest ERA in the class. So you got a team that's third best ERA, fourth best run differential, led to a in batting average. Everybody's coming back. And that is
yeah,
not something you can say about any of the other teams on our list right now. So for me, as hard as it was also an easy decision based off of the sheer amount that you have back. Now, yes, they did with that team lose out to Beckman,
yeah,
but Beckman, you look at, they were also right in line with the top pitching squads, top hitting squads in the class. So in 1A, 2A, 1A, I felt like this was truly a one versus number two seed scenario. I really
yeah.
felt like you had, two of the top teams going at it for the state title game, and it just went Beckman's way. That's the thing. I don't think it was a matter of anything else. It just went their way, and for me, it's squarely Underwood.
Yeah, I didn't get to watch that 2A state championship game. That's the one gripe I do have on state baseball is that they match up, so we're not able to cover both
Yeah.
equally. But I was really surprised to see Beckman win that by 6 because I mean Underwood they lost twice in the first few weeks of the season, both by 1 runs. They lost to Cherokee Washington towards the end of the regular season by 2. Everything else went their way. So for them to lose by 6 in the state title game, it really caught me off guard. So if anything, this shows how incredible of a team Beckman Catholic was and how well they were playing at the end of the year because this Underwood team was elite last season. And like you said, they return everybody, and that's the storyline. And Louette is just going to be a stud. I mean, he hit 516 as a freshman, and teams were pitching around him and trying not to give him anything to hit, but that's really hard to do when you've got a full just arsenal behind him and around him of guys that can do damage on you. And that's what really makes teams great is when you have an elite hitter, surrounded by just as many elite hitters, and it's really pick your poison at this point.
Yeah.
And I feel bad for opposing pitching when you're throwing against the Underwood Eagles this year because it is going to be really hard to keep that team at bay this season.
They're my. You remember North Lynn a couple of years back, who was just wiping the floor with everybody. That's what I feel. Excuse me, Underwood will be coming in here again. They did it this year.
Yeah,
They do it again. They made a third state tournament appearance. I don't want to go ahead and say, oh man, I'm gonna say for sure because
yeah,
this is a class in which You take a look at last year too, and I'll give this too as a reason. But last we have so many question marks because last year we had Mid Prairie, Van Meter powerhouses who were thought to make the state tournament again.
Newman Catholic.
Newman Catholic and 1A. Like you had 1A and 2A just complete question marks. And
Yeah.
so what when you get to this kind of point, man, those two classes were really out kind of wild west, so to speak. So to have a team that still has that consistency and knowledge, Beckman does lose a bunch. They do lose
Yeah.
some good key pieces. Uh, could they make a 21st state tournament? They could, but I like Underwood. If I had to choose between Beckman and Underwood, the narrowest margin would go to the team that brings everybody back.
Yeah, and everyone talks about Garrett on the mound, and rightfully so. I mean, the Iowa commit doing anything and everything. But who was incredible was Jack Van Fossen. I mean,
Yeah,
53 innings pitch, Andrew. He gave up 2 earned runs. He had an ERA of .26 last year,
the
and
third
that's
most
just
in the class. Yeah,
it's incredible. And it's not like it's a one man show for Underwood. Like I said, it's everybody. They could probably. It'll be interesting to see who their number 3 is. Boothby and Adair were solid, and
they
it's
were
going to be
good.
scary what another year of progression is going to do for those guys on the mound. But I mean, it's kind of like you're going to have like a Hunter Cook, Reese Rogge esque kind of duo,
Yeah,
a class below in 2A with Van Fossen and Garrett. So I think Underwood was the easy number 1 for me. It was just a matter of how the other teams fell into my rankings, but we match it again. I mean, we're on the same wavelength here, and I'm guessing a lot of the people that really pay attention were probably very similar to us. Some of them could easily be interchanged, but I like our list we got.
yeah, I do too. I seriously like it. I would love to dive into even semifinal
Yeah, yeah,
ball.
that might be next.
You know that would be really cool to do something like that. But no, yeah, it's really this is really fun to do. I love all these teams. It just shows the great talent that we have. So that's really cool. And again, everybody out there, thanks for continuing to like, share, and spread the word on what we're doing. In the end, it's the talent in Iowa that's doing all this. We're just showing,
Yeah,
we're just giving it out there. We're highlighting, which is our kind of our motto. We're highlighting this. So, uh, yeah, we'd love to do it. Love more advanced stats as well. And I believe we have 3A. That is just get up. Well, I think I have that here for us if we want to take a quick look at. We'll look at 4A real quickly, and again, great job on the graphics there as we look. Some of those teams kind of went, oh, when putting these together, I went, okay, like big shout out to the Des Moines Lincoln Rail Splitters for being in around the top 10. But again, this is a stat that just dives into when you hit the ball. When you hit the
yep,
ball, what happens? That's why you take away home runs. That's why you take away strikeouts. Sacrifices are in play. So it's you know this is and 3A and 4A are one of those where that's it's just really fun because they give really accurate representations. Every class does, but this is I don't know if anyone, I myself included here, Cade, would have said yes, Sioux City East atop of Johnston in terms of batting average balls in play, just because of what we know Johnston can do. But yeah,
yeah,
this was a pretty cool list to put out.
yeah. Excited to see more, and as the season gets closer, we're excited to grab more fans, and hopefully our fan base just continues to grow because like you said, we're gonna be pushing out special content that not a lot of people have access to or will be able to see. So we're excited for this year. There's no doubt.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And hey, no doubt about catching this again. If you happen to miss, I should say, any of what we just said, hey, you can always catch it. Go to YouTube. We'll have it up there for you. Of course, Rockfin and wherever. We'll have clips for you all across what we did. So we'll have clips talking about all these different programs and more. So we'll have that ready for you. But for now, here, Cade, we've got a good interview coming on up as We talk with our prospect planner piece brought to you by RDA Financial, talking about the journey of the committee, the committee, the committer, however you want to say that. Chad Erickson of RDA Financial did a great job for us, and he let us in on his journey, which is one of a million, but still something that a lot of parents and athletes can look at and potentially model when they go through theirs. But that's all coming on up here for right now. We'll take a quick break. Unless there's anything else, I think we're adjourned here there, Kate.
No, we're good. I'm excited for next week. We'll see what we can come up with.
That is true. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll take a break and we'll be right back after this.